I'm so tired of restarting. This is something that happened to me a million times over on my own weight loss journey of trying to lose 65 pounds. I swear I would start, and then by the end of that week, I would quit, and then I'd restart the next week, and it's like every Monday I found myself restarting on a new diet or a new plan or a new workout system, and I couldn't get myself to be consistent. And I really sat down one day and I just thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, like, this is so hard. Like, why is it that I keep falling off track? Why is it that I keep having to restart? Why is it that I can't keep myself consistent? And all of a sudden I had this light bulb idea. Like, literally it was like, ding! I had this idea like, Kaelin, you are consistent at going to work. You're consistent at getting your job done. You are consistent at, you know, being home at certain times. Like, and I just started to think about it for a second. I was like, you know what? Like, everything else in my life is scheduled, right? I don't just try to do it flying by the seat of my pants. You know, there's a certain time that I wake up. There's a certain time I eat breakfast. There's a certain time I go to work. There's a certain time I have a lunch break. There's a certain time I get off work. There's a certain time I get home. Why should my health journey be any different, right? And so I had this light bulb moment of, I just need to schedule it. I need to start tracking what I'm doing. I need to start scheduling out in my day what time I'm gonna go to the gym, what time I'm gonna eat this meal, what time that I'm gonna have this snack, what time I'm gonna, and literally, it sounds so simple, but it completely changed my life. And what I found was we are such creatures of habit. And now after, you know, I've lost the 65 pounds, I've helped millions of women along their own weight loss journey. And what I found is we are creatures of habit. As much as we want to say that we're not, as much as we want to pretend like, you know what, I'm just gonna like figure out a time to go to the gym and maybe I'll make it, or, you know, maybe I'll eat healthy, or maybe I'll, you know, be able to prep my food. Like, when you actually schedule it into your day, it helps you be consistent, right? It helps you stay consistent instead of like falling off and restarting. The reason why we fall off and have to restart is because we don't stay consistent throughout the week, right? At some point on Monday, we're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna crush it this week. I'm starting this new diet or this new plan. And then by Thursday, we're like, you know, maybe I'll make it to the gym today. I'm not really sure. Dinner with friends sounds more exciting. And by Friday, we're like, yeah, I think I'll just go to happy hour, right? But because we have other things scheduled in our lives, we're consistent with them. We show up to them. We show up, you know, for our job. We show up to pick up our kids at the right time. We show up to make dinner for our families at the right time. So what I found was I took out a piece of paper. And so you guys can totally do this. Take out a piece of paper and write down everything that you have scheduled in your day, and just kind of track what your day looks like, and then schedule in when you're gonna have a meal, when you're gonna have a snack. You know, eat every 3 to 4 hours, depending on how many hours you're up during the day. What time are you gonna go to the gym? And I found doing this for myself, even though I hate like scheduling things, I'm like, I just wanna fly by the seat of my pants and just like, you know, nobody can schedule me, like nobody can control me. What I found was like, because I wasn't scheduling it, I wasn't doing it. And so I took out a piece of paper, I wrote down all the things I needed to do, including writing affirmations, writing my goal, revisiting my why on a daily basis. And because I started scheduling them in, and of course, like we can't just start and get it all right in the beginning. Started by setting an alarm on my phone. I would set an alarm on my phone for each time that I was supposed to eat, and I had those times mapped out on a sheet of paper, and then I would just track what I ate, I would track what I did, and what I found was I started getting wins, right? Like I would win that day, I would get all my meals in, I would get to the gym because it was scheduled, it was literally in my calendar. And then at the end of the week, I was like, yes, and I gained momentum towards my goal. Instead of falling off through the week, I was gaining momentum, right? And so I just found, and I found with all the women that I've worked with, that when you start scheduling things out, when you start writing it down, when you really start tracking it, you're able to stay consistent and you're not falling off and you're not restarting every week because you have momentum coming out of the last week instead of having fallen off the last week and then said, okay, now I have to start something new because I fell off and it's not working. Well, it's not that the program isn't working, it's that like you're not working the program. So how are ways that you can find out to work the program, right? Writing those things out, tracking what you're doing, make yourself a schedule. and say, this is the time I'm gonna go to the gym every single day. This is the time that I should have drank a half a gallon of water by this time in the day. This is the time when I should complete my full gallon of water for the day. And when I started tracking those things, it actually made me aware of what I was doing instead of getting through my whole day and being like, crap, I didn't drink any water today, right? And just beginning to track those and schedule those things. So that's like my biggest tip for you on how to not have to restart every week or every 2 weeks or every month, right? Because if you can build momentum in your day, you can build momentum in your week, and you can roll that right into the next week and the next week and the next week. And so it all starts with scheduling it. It all starts with planning it. It all starts with having a game plan for you to where you can succeed. Because if you're not writing it down, if you're not scheduling it, we're creatures of habit, and we're just gonna fall back into the old habits of what we usually do, or sitting on the couch, or not going to the gym. Is this making sense? It's like the biggest light bulb for me. And so what I started doing was just tracking it. What's convenient now, that was 6 years ago that 6 years ago now that I lost the weight. And since then, I actually made it extremely easy for the women that I work with to be able to track what they're doing too. And so if you want help tracking what you're doing, if you want like a system for this, yes, you can use a piece of paper, and that makes it super simple. But I actually created this momentum journal, and it helps you track all of that. So check it out. I don't know if you guys care to see this, but I just want to show you because this is exactly what I use. You can see my own personal ones in here. But you can track your breakfast, your snack, your lunch, your snack, your dinner, what your workout was, what time you're gonna work out, how you're feeling that day, how much water you drank. And then you can also track what your goals for this week are, because every day when you open this up, you can see, here's my goal for this week. Am I getting closer to that goal, right? How many things have I skipped out on? How many things have I missed? And so you can actually see like a 10,000 foot view of the things that you're supposed to be doing and whether you're doing them or not, so it'll keep you in momentum. That's actually why I called it the momentum journal. It's pretty cool, right? And then you can write your affirmations in here. So like, I am worth it, I am beautiful, I am amazing, I'm a conqueror, right? And then at the end of the week, you're writing your successes from the week before. And so having a plan like this, and even if you don't use this exactly, just make out a plan for you that makes it easy and simple for you to track what you're doing and to schedule it in, so then you won't have to restart every week. You're just rolling into the next week, right? So this is the momentum journal. If you want one, you can just click the link and grab one. I feel like even 6 years later, this thing keeps me on track. Because even though I know everything to do, I mean, life is crazy, right? So if it's not written down, if it's not trackable, like, you might as well just forget about it. You're not even gonna do it if it's not in the plan, if it's not in the schedule. So if you want help with that, make sure to get that journal, and you don't have to restart anymore. You don't have to quit, you don't have to fall off anymore. Just know that if you're not tracking it, if you're not scheduling it in, that's why that's happening. That's why you haven't been able to stay consistent. So do that, and I promise that you'll see yourself rolling week to week to week towards your goal, and you're gonna surprise yourself at how much you're actually accomplishing because you're not flying by the seat of your pants anymore. Because trust me, I did it for a really, really long time, and all it does is put you right back into the cycle of having to start over, and I don't want that for you. I don't want you to have to do that. And a lot of companies and things out there tell you like, just do it, push through it, and just stay on it. But you know what, when you're changing, like, you feel like you're changing every habit in your life, everything that you're doing, like, you have to schedule it in for it to become a new habit, right? For it to become something that actually sticks for you. Instead of like one day you're totally with it and the next day you're totally off. Having it some type of tracking system like this, like a momentum journal, is gonna help you stay on track towards your goal so you don't have to restart anymore.